I always, as a pastor of a Christian church, I wonder about why that happens. Why do we separate if we all believe in one God, and the God of Abraham, right? And then why does that happen? And so, I don't know, I'm asking that from a Christian perspective. Why do Christians do that? But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Sure. So when you say that, coming together in separation, is that from a theological point of view or from a political point of view?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahilladzi arsala rasulahu bil huda wa dinil haqq liyuzhirahu ala dini kullihi wa kafa billahi syahida. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarikalah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu la nabiyya ba'da. Berjumpa lagi dengan channel saya Mars Techno. Saya doakan semoga semua sahabat dalam keadaan sehat selalu. Pada video kali ini kami akan menampilkan bagaimana usaha dakwah seorang Sabeel Ahmed. Beliau adalah salah seorang murid dari Dr. Zakir Naik yang memang reputasinya sudah tidak kita ragukan lagi. Pada kesempatan ini beliau menerima pertanyaan dari seorang pastur yang datang untuk studi banding dengan membawa beberapa mahasiswanya. Nah sahabat, mari kita saksikan saja video selengkapnya dan saya akan sedikit mereaksinya.
Yes.
The Muslim faith and then Jewish and Christian, throughout all history, there have been times where there's been a movement of peace between the three, and then they separate, and then they come back together. And I always, as a pastor of a Christian church, I wonder about why that happens. Why do we separate if we all believe in one God, and the God of Abraham, right? And then why does that happen? And so, I don't know, I'm asking that from a Christian perspective. Why do Christians do that? But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Sure. So when you say that, coming together in separation, is that from a theological point of view or from a political point of view?
Probably both. I just think in church history there's been moments where there's been great peace amongst the three religions.
Sure.
There's been great peace. And then there's times where it's not great peace.
Sure.
It's a bad history.
Yeah, all of you got, right? That's a really important observation, a historical observation. So I will give you from both sides, by the way, God willing, right? Inshallah, from the political aspect and then from the theological aspect. Okay. So let's go from the political aspect really quickly. Islam, it says in the Quran, chapter 60, verse number 8, that Muslims are supposed to live in peace and harmony with our neighbors, people of other faiths. So when Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, when he was in Mecca, he started to preach. God commanded him to preach monotheism and Islam to people. Few people converted, but then there came some people who did not, and they started to torture the Muslims, and they came to assassinate even Muhammad, peace be upon him. So he moved to Medina. In Medina, there were many Jewish tribes and some Christians and some other people. So one of the very first things that he did, he had an all-inclusive constitution called as the Medina Charter. So he dictated that, and the Medina Charter says, the Muslims and the Jewish people will be one community. We are going to look out for each other. We will not side with the enemy. We will protect each other. So Muhammad, peace be upon him, right, as a political peace within the two communities, he gave them 100% autonomy to the Jewish people. You can have your own synagogues. You have the freedom to have your religion. You can have your own judiciary system, penal system, total autonomy to the Jewish people, and that's what Islam speaks about, right? There is a Jewish professor by the name of Dr. David Wallenstein. In the Jewish journal, the JC.com, May 2012, he wrote an article, and the main title of the article is this: so what did the Muslims did to the Jews? And the very first sentence he wrote down is, Islam saved the Jewry. And then he gives the example of how Muhammad, peace be upon him, how he gave them protection, autonomy, because at that time in the 7th century, the Jewish people, they were preyed on by the Catholics, by the Persians, by the other people, to the extent of them getting extinct. So at that point, Muhammad, peace be upon him, and through the guidance of God, gave them protection and autonomy, and yes, freedom to practice the faith. The second reason that he gave is Muslims in Spain. When Muslims were, part and the ruling party of Spain for about more than 700 years, the age of enlightenment, even before the Renaissance that you see in Italy and other places, it were the Muslims who were the catalyst to the Renaissance. So in the Islamic state in Spain, it was the Jewish people that thrived. And the Christians too. So according to the Jewish encyclopedia, that was the golden age of Judaism under the Muslim Spain. The third important reason that professor gives is World War II. In World War II, unfortunately, many of the Christian and the Catholic nations, they were handing over their Jewish people to the Nazis. But Muslims, we came together, right, and they said we are not going to hand over a single Jewish person to the Nazis. So Albania and Kosovo and Bosnia and Turkey, even Iran, Iran protected 2,000 Jewish people. Iranian government, they wrote false documents saying that these are our citizens. We're not going to give it to, our citizens to you, to the Nazis. Turkey saved 75,000 Jewish people, and other Muslim countries. So all throughout history, the Jews and the Christians living as minorities, they had awesome time under the Muslim rule, right? And obviously there were friction here and there, some aberrations, but overall it was a good, thriving community. And friction can also be because of, other political reasons. For example, money and oil and power and glory and historical vengeance, all of them play into part, but the Quran is really big about living in peace and harmony with people of other faiths. You were saying something, sorry.
No, I just agree. I agree with what you said, that we should be working towards peace with one another, for sure. Mm-hmm. Even despite the different theological beliefs, being one humanity.
Yes, and that's what Quran also says. Muslim is supposed to peacefully preach the message. In fact, it says in chapter 16, verse number 125, right? Udu'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati wal mu'izatil hasanati wa jadilhum billati hiya ahsan. That invite all to the way of Allah with wisdom and good preaching, and converse with them in ways which are, good and gracious. So there is no compulsion in Islam. So one important lesson for you guys is this. In case if you see something otherwise, in some country, by some group, people are oppressing women or forcefully converting people and whatnot, that is culture, that is their ignorance, and here are the pure, beautiful teachings of Islam.
Okay.
Right?
That's helpful, thank you.
Yeah. Question?
We should probably interject here. We need to get going pretty soon here.
Sure.
Just to be faithful, I mentioned some time constraints to our students. But I just want to thank you, Dr. Sabeel, and to everyone who is here. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Sure.
For your wisdom, and for your teaching of us about our own faith.
Okay.
Even, I think this is a very unique year that our students get to go through, and in many ways it's about humility. It's about learning how much we don't know, and often Christianity has assumed that we've known a lot of things when maybe we haven't known those things, and we've overestimated what we think we know, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And so I think today has, at least for me, been very enlightening in the sense that there's a lot that I don't know about who God is, and it's been helpful that you've walked through some of these things with us. Even some of these questions have been really helpful too, in the sense that I think peace I was thinking of, there's a verse in Romans, the letter of Romans, that talks about, insofar as it's possible with you, live peaceably with all people. And so I was reminded of that various times. So it's just a gift to sit with you all, and I really hope to hang out again.
Yeah.
No, I mean, always welcome, by the way, right? Always welcome. Just give us a call, beforehand so we can have proper arrangement. So one gift, besides sharing our knowledge and taking these wonderful, good questions, we have these flyers over here about basics of Islam. So all of you, these are free, you can take it. And we have this gift bag, one gift bag. It has a copy of the Quran. We say this gift is priceless, right? So the actual Quran is in Arabic language. This would be the translation of the Quran. So along with the Quran, we also have in the gift bag some brief history about Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and a few other items as a gift of education, as we say, right? So this is for all of you. So again, on behalf of the mosque and behalf of all the volunteers who came and help out, we really thank God for having you coming over here. So we get an opportunity to share our message, to share the message of peace. People have so many misconceptions, but by us coming over here, all those walls of misconceptions may go away, and we can see each other as humans first and foremost, as a wonderful creation of the Creator.
Yes.
So again, thanks for coming. May God guide all of us. May God bless all of us so we can establish peace and justice by God's guidance and eternal paradise by God's mercy. Thank you. Thank you for coming, yeah. Yeah, give yourself a good round of applause for coming here, yeah.
Masya Allah, sebuah pertanyaan yang sangat menarik dari ketua rombongan yaitu Pastur yang datang ke masjid untuk studi banding dengan Dr. Sabeel Ahmed. Beliau menanyakan jika memang kita berasal dari agama Nabi Ibrahim yang menyembah satu Tuhan yang esa, mengapa ada perdamaian dan juga sekarang terpisah kondisinya? Mendapat pertanyaan begitu dengan kecerdasan dari Dr. Sabeel Ahmed yang tidak saja menguasai agama Islam, Kristen dan Yudaisme, tapi juga menguasai sejarahnya. Ditanya kembali oleh Dr. Sabeel Ahmed, dari sudut pandang teologi atau sudut pandang politik yang Anda inginkan. Sang pastor meminta penjelasan mengenai kedua sudut pandang tersebut. Dr. Sabeel Ahmed menjelaskan bahwa dalam agama Islam, Muslim seharusnya dalam kondisi yang damai dan harmoni, sebagaimana dikatakan dalam Al-Quran dalam surat 60 ayat 8. Hidup damai dan harmoni dengan tetangga, dengan pemeluk agama lain. Jadi ketika Nabi Muhammad SAW tinggal di Mekah, beliau mulai berdakwah. Tuhan memerintahkan beliau untuk mendakwahkan agama tauhid dan ajaran Islam kepada masyarakat Mekah. Namun hanya sedikit orang yang menerima Islam. Tetapi ada juga dari mereka yang tidak menerima dakwah Islam. Bahkan mereka mulai menyiksa kaum muslimin. Bahkan mereka juga bersepakat dari semua suku untuk mengirim satu orang yang paling baik di antara mereka untuk membunuh Nabi Muhammad SAW. Akhirnya Nabi Muhammad memutuskan untuk pindah ke suatu tempat yang bernama Yastrib pada saat itu, dan namanya diubah menjadi Madinah Al-Munawwaroh. Di Madinah ini ada banyak suku Yahudi, Kristen dan golongan lain. Jadi ketika Islam sudah berkuasa di Madinah, Nabi Muhammad SAW membuat konstitusi yang sangat terbuka, yaitu yang disebut Piagam Madinah. Di piagam ini ditekankan bahwa Muslim dan Yahudi akan menjadi satu komunitas, akan saling menjaga, tidak memihak pada musuh masing-masing dan akan saling melindungi. Jadi inilah sebuah piagam Madinah yang penuh keadilan dan perdamaian yang dibuat ketika penguasa muslim berkuasa. Nah sahabat, mungkin itu saja sedikit reaksi video dari saya. Mudah-mudahan bermanfaat. Wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.